Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Been strapped for time. This video is coming out a little one day late, but this is going to be an episode of My Week in Perfume where I talk about everything that I wore this week. This has been a interesting week. A lot of stuff has been kicked to the curb. So a lot of these fragrances I wore, they're actually like technically my second scent of the day, just because the first scent of the day was disappointing. I'll have a video about all the fragrances that I'm actually getting rid of pretty soon as well, because I think it's important to talk about curating your collection, right? So that being said, if you enjoy the channel, be sure to hit the like button, hit the sub button, and let's get right into what I wore this Monday. Last Monday, I wore a crazy fragrance by a one-man band brand out of Chile. I believe the guy's name that runs it, his name is Joel Martinez, and he runs a brand called 432. These are, I believe, handmade artisanal perfumes. They use materials around the, the country of Chile, I think specifically around the Patagonia region. This is called Viento Puelche. This is the only marine fragrance I have ever liked. I've tried them all. I've tried Acqua di Scandala by Parfum d'Empire. I've tried, the classics, Acqua di Gio. I've tried the Mega Mares and the Acqua di, what is it called? The Perfumum Roma, Acqua di Sale, None of them have done it for me except Viento Puelche. And I think it's because it's an artisanal perfume. It doesn't use those annoying, cologne materials. He achieves the marine aspect in a natural smelling way, which is, in my opinion, very, very difficult to do. This is kind of sea breezy and slightly seaweedy. It sounds kind of weird, but it does have this distinct green marine quality. It's citrusy. There's an incensey inflection. There's something I can't really put my finger on. There's something spicy and like herbaceous about it. It is amazing though. I know as some people's skins, especially Mo from the channel The Selfish Spray, not Sense for Thought anymore. Marine fragrances on his skin turn like eggy, and some people hate them because they smell like like a dead fish or something. This doesn't do either of those things. This is a really well executed, natural smelling marine fragrance. So that is 432 Viento Puelche. Highly recommend the brand of 432. I think it's some of the coolest perfumery happening right now. So I'm gonna put you guys onto that. Okay, Tuesday last week, I wore a classic. I mean, you guys are gonna love this. This is my gigantic bottle of Guerlain L'Instant de Guerlain Pour Homme. This is the Eau de Toilette. This isn't the Eau Extreme. The Eau Extreme would have the black rim. Oh my god. This is kind of my summer patchouli. It's this incredible, bright, citrusy, sort of star anise cacao patchouli. It's incredible. It's so textured. It's just the right amount of spice. The patchouli in here isn't like hippie patchouli. It's nothing like 1970s inflected. It's a very tamed, transparent, spicy, anisic patchouli, if that makes sense. It's incredible. One of the best things Guerlain has made probably in the past 25 years. And yeah, I love the Eau de Toilette. I actually prefer it to the Eau Extreme. Okay. Wednesday last week, I wore one of my favorite summer incenses. This is very underrated from Amouage. This is Amouage Lineage. Guys, don't steer away from this bottle style just because you think it's geared towards women. Absolutely not. Some of the greatest Amouage fragrances, in my opinion, ever made are in this bottle style. Epic 56, Lyric Woman, Overture Woman, Jubilation 25, and of course Lineage. This is a marine incense, basically. You have this extremely strong, dense, creamy incense feel, but it's like you're burning incense next to the shoreline. This is another, it's not a marine fragrance, but it has a marine touch. This is another marine fragrance that isn't like overdone. It's very well balanced. It's very it's very appropriate. The biggest and most impressive quality of this is not only the performance, but just the uniqueness of this scent profile, I haven't smelled anything like it at all. So that was Amouage Lineage. If you want a big, huge performing summer incense, definitely check this out. I really, really enjoy that. Okay, now to a new addition to the collection. I actually own this entire brand. Some of you might be able to guess what the brand is. They only have 4 fragrances. This is Philosopher's Walk by the brand Les Abstraits. This is a brand owned by a YouTuber and an OG member of Fragcom. His name is Eugene. He has a YouTube channel called You Smells Good. He works with master perfumer Antoine Lee with his brand, and they just make absolutely phenomenal stuff, in my opinion. I'm obviously not sponsored or anything. I've never even spoken to Eugene personally. This fragrance is a take on a barbershop style fragrance, basically. It's extremely clean, fresh, and powdery. It starts off with this huge blast, almost like Shalimar-esque blast of citruses and bergamot. And then it goes into this beautiful combination of powdery notes with this sort of little lavender peeking through in the top that gives it just that little lavender texture. It's definitely a powdery barbershop fougere. If you don't like powdery fragrances, I would probably steer clear of this, but it's not like baby powder or like some sort of iris fragrance. It's nothing like that. It's just a very clean, very airy, almost like a white smelling barbershop fougere style thing. It's really, really beautiful. If you've never smelled anything from the brand of Les Abstraits, I would highly, highly recommend. In my opinion, they have one of the best orris/iris fragrances ever made in Belle Âme. They have an incredible rose fragrance called La Douleur Exquise, which is essentially Portrait of a Lady combined with Chanel Antaeus. And it is just as good as it sounds. And then the other one that I love from that brand is called Descendress, which is this take on sort of a green chypre style, sort of like Aramis Devon, green, smoky, galbanum leather sort of fragrance. It's really awesome. Okay, moving on to Friday. Friday, I wore an unconventional fragrance, a fragrance that people don't really associate with summer, but I think it's fantastic in any season. This is Amouage Opus 15 King Blue. Don't be afraid of King Blue, guys. I'm telling you. This in the summer is absolute magic. My girlfriend asks me specifically to wear this, which is very rare. This is an oud fragrance, but it's like a blueberry oud. It really is. The problem with this fragrance with a lot of people is they spray it and then they shove their nose into it, right? We're all guilty of that with fragrances. You can't do that with King Blue. If you do that with King Blue, all you're going to get is that sort of funky, slightly animalic, fermented oud in the base. The key is to spray this and smell the sillage, right? Smell the fragrance in the air. It literally smells like a blueberry cupcake with something darker going on. That's basically how I describe this. The fruitiness in this isn't anything that I've smelled in any other fragrance. Obviously, there's stuff like Bortnikov Dubai that's a fruity oud, oud maracuja. There are so many things. But the fruity quality of King Blue is sort of darker. They're really almost like fermented, juicy fruits. It's a darker take on that fruit, combined with that sort of funky animalic oud. But the combination of the two, the sweetness offsets the oud, and the oud gives the fruit something more interesting. I think it's an awesome combination. That is King Blue. Wear it in the summer. You won't regret it. I'm telling you right now. Okay. Next up is another newish addition to the collection. One of my favorite brands of all time is Serge Lutens. And I noticed I didn't have a Serge Lutens in my summer rotation. So, of course, that had to be remedied. So, I bought this. This is Serge Lutens Parole d'Eau. This is so good. I'll say up front, this is a 30 sprayer, okay? Like, that dent is from one wear. So, this is, this incredible citrus peely sort of rindy lemon lime combination with a woody, I would say slightly medicinal green eucalyptus. It's very cooling. It's extremely almost bracing in a way. There's a slight touch of something that I interpret as like aldehydic. I know there's another fragrance in this line. I believe the line this is part of is called Matanlutans or something like that. The other one that it slightly reminds me of is L'eau sur Lutans. It has the same kind of slight aldehydic thing combined with the citruses, but I would say in general, this is a woody, green, cooling, citrusy eucalyptus fragrance. It's incredible. I can't believe it isn't talked about much. From Serge Lutens, I don't really think people look at that brand and think summer. I think people look at Serge Lutens as a brand and think definitely some colder scent profiles. I mean, they make stuff like, Ambre Sultan and Chergui and, Sarasans and Fianagi. So I completely understand why. But don't sleep on them for summer. They have awesome stuff like Fleurs de Citronneur and Fleurs d'Oranger, and of course, Perle d'Eau as well. Okay, and finally, on Sunday, I just spoiled it. I wore another sort of minty green thing, but this is pretty much the one to rule them all. And you guys probably already know what it is. It is Amouage Beach Hut Man. Been some talk about this potentially being discontinued. I don't know. I don't know what's happening. If it is discontinued, that's really weird. I would anticipate this to be actually a very popular fragrance. I see a lot of people talk about this, but, annoying discontinuation fear-mongering aside, this is the most ridiculous mint fragrance on the market, bar none, in my opinion. They should have called this, like, Jungle Man, or, like, Stranded in the Jungle Man, or something like that, because Beach Hut Man is kind of misleading. Yes, you can definitely wear this in hotter temperatures, which is probably why they called it Beach Hut Man. But when I tell you this stuff is nuclear, I am dead serious. I perceive this to be stronger than King Blue, personally. And maybe that's just because of the sharp, green, piercing, minty quality of this, but it is just the strongest, greenest fragrance in my entire collection. The mint in here, to me, used to come off like toothpaste, but now it doesn't. To me, it's more like a, how do I say it? It's more like an oily mint, a very, very freshly crushed piece of mint. Maybe you're just like taking that mint leaf and crushing it between your hands and shoving your nose in there. There's definitely this galbanum-y thing going on as well. I detect this sort of very slight ashy greenness. It's very slight, but I do believe galbanum's in the notes. And then, there's got to be amberwoods in this, because this stuff is so strong, and I can't really think of any other way it could be as strong as it is without there being something, incredibly boosted about it. With that being said, I do think it remains shockingly natural smelling, even though you're kind of combining things that don't make sense. You're combining very realistic, minty freshness with like 12 hours of longevity with strong projection, right? That balance is probably some of the hardest stuff to do in perfume, because a lot of the time, if you have a natural smelling scent profile and you try to make it last long, you're going to sacrifice something, right? You're going to add something in that shouldn't be there, that sacrifices some natural aspects, and it just becomes a mess very quickly. So the fact they've managed to achieve that balance in Beach Hut Man, I think it's a little overlooked. I think it's very impressive. So this has been my week in perfume. If you enjoyed, be sure to let me know what you wore this week as well in the comment section. Hit the like button, hit the sub button, and more videos to come, guys. Got a lot of cool stuff on the way.